By the time I pull into the driveway, the rain's coming down in sheets, pinging off the hood like loose change. It's a Friday night. I'm thinking about cold chicken, warm couch, some trashy reality show mumbling in the background while I half watch and half scroll. Normal. Predictable. I open the front door and stop. The sofa's shoved against the far wall. The coffee table is gone. For dining chairs sit in a semicircle facing a single chair in the center like it's about to be interrogated under a bare bulb. My chair. Obviously. Rachel stands behind it, hands folded, lips pulled into that tight, performance smile she uses on Instagram and waiters. Flanking her like backup singers are her 4 friends: Laura Price, Anna Collins, Maria Rivera, and Sarah Bennett. The 4 idiots. Eric, Rachel says, voice bright and brittle. Can you sit down? We need to talk. That "we need to talk" carries the same energy as a firing email that starts with "per my last message." I shut the door behind me, hang my coat slowly, buying a few seconds to take in the scene. What's this? I ask, walking toward the empty chair. Furniture trial? Did the coffee table plead guilty? Laura exhales loudly. This is serious. Of course it is, I say, sitting. You're all here. Rachel steps slightly forward like she practiced this. We're having an intervention. I look around the room. No cameras, at least not visible. Just 5 women who think they're a jury. About? Ask. You, Anna says, crossing her arms. About how you treat Rachel. There it is. Rachel launches into a speech that sounds like it was stitched together from TikTok clips and therapy memes. I'm emotionally unavailable. I invalidate her feelings. I weaponize logic. And my personal favorite, I create an unsafe space with my tone. I asked you to rinse your dishes, I say. Calm down, Stalin. Maria jumps in. You're always criticizing her. She told us how you made her feel small when she got that promotion. I look at Rachel. You mean when you came home drunk? Lost your purse? And I spent half the night canceling your cards and ordering replacements while you cried on the bathroom floor? That promotion. Maria's mouth snaps shut. Sarah leans forward. You control the money. That's financial abuse. I almost laughed. Laura, how's that going with Ethan? I ask, turning my head. He still doesn't know you put $3 grand on Klarna for handbags you can't spell? Color drains from her face. That's not relevant. It's entirely relevant, I say. If we're passing out abuse labels every time someone looks at a bank statement. Anna tries to recover. The point is, Rachel doesn't feel emotionally supported. Right? I say. Anna, how many times have you been divorced now? 2? 3? Maybe sit this one out. Her jaw tightens. Rachel tries again, voice wobbling now that the script isn't landing clean. They're here because they care about me, Eric. They see how cold you've become. Cold? I repeat. You mean how I stopped entertaining weekly meltdowns about people on the internet you don't actually know? Sarah huffs. You're deflecting. No, I say. I'm noticing a pattern. Every woman lecturing me on how to be a husband has a relationship history that looks like a demolition site. Silence. Just the rain ticking against the window. Rachel's eyes shine. Not quite tears, more like frustration. I wanted you to hear how your behavior affects me. From people who love me. Not enough to tell you the truth, apparently. I say, standing up. I smooth my shirt. Reach for my coat. No rush. Just done. Where are you going? She asks, panic finally cracking through the performance. I slip on my coat. Take one last look at the semicircle court. I've heard the charges, I say calmly. I'll save all these valuable suggestions for my next relationship. The room freezes. No one speaks. They just watch as I walk past the makeshift courtroom, out the front door, and into the rain. Finally more free outside in the storm than I'd been in that house for years. The hotel room in Lodo is small, clean, and quiet, the kind of place people use for business trips or cheating. I check in, ride the elevator up with a couple in matching fleece jackets, and keep my face neutral. Inside, I drop my bag, toss my phone on the little table, screen buzzing like an angry wasp nest, and ignore it. Rachel can perform into the void for a while. I pull the curtains halfway, just enough to watch the rain smear the city lights. Then I sit, open my laptop, and do what I actually trust. Numbers. Joint credit card. Last 6 months. I expect the usual: groceries, gas, Amazon. The basics of two people slowly losing interest in each other. Instead, a pattern starts glowing on the screen like a bruise: high-end restaurants downtown, 2 top reservations, midweek. Hotel charges for places we've never stayed together. All hitting on nights she said she was working late or out with the girls. I open my calendar. Cross-reference dates. I remember those nights. Leftovers for one. Her texts. Don't wait up. Busy with the team. Girls' night. You'd be bored. The numbers disagree. Next. Phone records. Our shared account lays everything out in black and white. One unknown number pops up like a heartbeat. 147 calls and a mess of texts over a few months. Always evenings. Always clustered around those same dates. Reverse lookup takes seconds. Alex Garcia. 33. Different city. I knew the name before I read it. Her college ex. The what if she used to mention when she'd had one glass of wine too many. I find his socials. Old photos of them pop up with fresh likes. Hearts. Inside jokes in the comments from years ago revived like they're trying to crawl out of a grave. Mutuals with Laura, Anna, Maria, Sarah. The whole circus. I started taking screenshots. I build folders by month. Color code the charges, the calls, the supposed girls' nights. By the time the rain softens into a drizzle, I'm looking at 4 months of lies laid out like a clean spreadsheet. This isn't heartbreak anymore. It's evidence. And evidence means strategy. Isabel Martinez's office smells like coffee and printer toner, organized war. Floor-to-ceiling windows, neat desk, no motivational quotes. Just a woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and a calm that looks expensive. So, she says, flipping open the folder I hand her. You brought me homework. Inside, timelines, color-coded statements, hotel receipts, call logs, screenshots. Each tab labeled like an audit. She reads in silence for a while, nods once. You do this for a living? Operations analysis. I say. I follow broken patterns all day. This one just happened to be my marriage. A hint of a smile. Good. Then this will be simple. She outlines the path. Colorado no-fault divorce, but with leverage, misuse of marital funds, documented affair patterns, and that little stunt in my living room. Public humiliation attempt, she calls it. Judges don't love theatrics. Tell me what to do, I say. Emotionally, she asks. Legally, I correct. Emotionally, I'm done. She sits back. Then it's easy. You go silent. No responses. No angry texts. No online statements. From this point on, if it's not through me, it doesn't exist. My phone buzzes on her desk, Rachel again. Then Laura. Then a group chat lighting up. Isabel glances at it. They'll take this online, she says. Victim posts, empowerment quotes, vague accusations. Screenshot everything. Don't reply. Their noise is my evidence. By Monday night, it's already rolling. Rachel posts about being abandoned by the person you gave everything to. The 4 idiots flood the comments with affirmations and little dig shots. Real men don't walk away. Healing from emotional abuse. That kind of crap. I don't type a word. I just save it all and email the folder to Isabel. Very helpful, she replies. They're building your case for you. A few days later, there's a heavy knock at my apartment door. I open it to a wall of muscle in a work jacket, jaw tight. Eric? He asks. That's me. Name's Sean. I'm a friend of Laura's. She says you're harassing her and Rachel. Posting stuff, spreading lies. I study him. Tired eyes. Calloused hands. A good man pointing the wrong direction. She is at work right now? Ask. He frowns. Yeah. I pull my phone out, open Instagram, scroll, and turn the screen toward him. Laura, 3 hours ago, tagged at a rooftop bar, drink in hand, sitting a little too close to some guy with a sleeve tattoo. She's hardworking. I say evenly. You must be proud. His face shifts. Color drains. That's That's not. She also blocked me last week. I continued, swiping to a screenshot of her rant about men who can't handle strong women. It's hard to harass someone who cut contact. He swallows, looks at the door behind me like he needs something solid to lean on. Sean, I say, voice flat but not unkind. You came here ready to fight a man you don't know because a woman with a questionable GPS signal told you a one-sided story. Sound familiar? He exhales, shoulders sagging. She said you were dangerous. Yeah, I say. To lie. He doesn't have a comeback. He just nods once, embarrassed, and steps back. Do yourself a favor, I add. Check her location history before you show up at another guy's door on her behalf. He leaves without another word. I close the door, lock it, and forward the whole encounter summary to Isabel. Her reply is short. Pattern confirmed. They recruit men to do their confronting. Helps my argument about emotional manipulation. They think they're running on drama. I'm running on documentation and silence. And silence is winning. The townhouse looks exactly the same from the outside. Same chipped flower pots. Same crooked welcome mat Rachel always said she'd replace and never did. I unlock the door with my key. Still works. For now. Inside, it smells like vanilla candles and denial. Rachel appears at the end of the hall. Oversized sweatshirt, leggings, bare feet. Eyes red. Mascara smudged just enough to look unplanned. Eric. She breathes, like my name just saved her. We need to talk. I'm here to pack, I say, lifting the empty duffel on my shoulder. Talking is optional. She follows me into the bedroom, hovering while I take my shirts off hangers, fold them into the bag. Her voice starts soft, wounded. I don't understand how you could just walk out like that, after everything we've been through, after what my friends showed you about your behavior. I keep folding. Your friends showed me their behavior. Yours too. She steps closer. You've been so cold, so distant. I tried to tell you I was drowning and you just shut down. They saw it. They saw how toxic things were getting. There's that word again. Toxic. The all-purpose grenade. I drop the next shirt into the bag, then reach for the folder in my backpack. Thick, heavy, full of printer ink and hard facts. I unzip it and let it fall onto the bed. What's that? She asks. Your diary, I say. The honest version. I open it and start laying out pages on the comforter. Hotel invoices, restaurant receipts, call log screenshots. Each one highlighted, each date circled. A neat little graveyard of alibis. Her eyes skim the papers. I watch her face go through stages. Confusion, recognition. Then that tight flinch when the lie you told finally meets the proof you hoped didn't exist. Alex Garcia, I say, calm as if I'm reading a weather report. 33, different city. Calls, texts, hotel stays, dinners. The man from the old stories. I wonder what if guy. She actually wobbles. Sits down on the edge of the bed. It wasn't physical, she stammers. I needed someone to talk to. After how you made me feel. I point at a hotel charge. You talked at the Hyatt on a Wednesday? Her eyes shine. I was lonely, Eric. You weren't there for me. You shut me out. Funny, I say. The phone records show you were very connected. Just not to your husband. She switches gears. I only went to him because I felt unsafe with you. Emotionally. I told the girls. Yeah. I cut in. You did tell the girls. You painted me as an abuser so you could cheat and still feel like the hero. She flinches like I hit her, but it's just the truth landing. Why are you doing this? She whispers. Why are you giving up without even fighting for us? I look at the bed, at the month-by-month layout of our last 4 months together. Why should I fight for someone, I ask, who spent 4 months making me the villain in her story? She has no answer. Just tears and shaky breathing, like that's currency I still accept. I zip my duffel closed, slide the folder back together, leaving a single printed page on the nightstand, Isabel's card. From now on, I say, everything goes through Isabel Martinez. You don't call me. You don't text me. You don't send your friends or your pet muscles. You talk to her. Her face crumples for real this time. She realizes what I already did days ago. I've moved from hurt to action. Hurt can be negotiated. Action can't. Do you hate me? She asks, voice small. I sling the bag over my shoulder, pause at the doorway. No, I say. Hate takes effort I'm not willing to spend anymore. She sobs once, openly now. You're not nothing, Rachel, I add. You're just not who I thought you were. Then I walk out of the bedroom, out of the townhouse, and lock the door behind me without looking back. Isabel picks up her pen, taps it against the legal pad once. Where does she usually eat lunch? Copper Mug Cafe, I say. Near her office. Fridays. Usually with the 4 idiots. Perfect. She writes it down like she's scheduling a dentist appointment, not a detonation. We'll serve her there. Late morning. High foot traffic. Likely witnesses. Built-in audience. You enjoy this a little, I say. I enjoy clean wins, she corrects. And people who think public humiliation only goes one way. Friday, 11:42 a.m. My phone buzzes. A short text from Isabel. Served. I picture it without needing details. Rachel laughing too loud at the table, Laura scrolling, Anna complaining about her ex, Sarah eyeing the pastry case, Maria trying to keep the peace. A stranger walks up, says her name, and hands her a thick envelope. Not a warning, not a threat, a fully loaded exit plan. It doesn't take long. By 12:15, the posts start. Rachel uploads a black and white photo of a coffee cup in her hand, captioned with something about giving your all and still ending up the villain. The 4 idiots pile in underneath with hearts and fist emojis. Trashing vague, men who abandon their wives, and cowards who run when things get hard. I don't comment, I don't even open the replies. I just screenshot everything, drop it into a folder labeled narrative management, and email it to Isabel. Her response, excellent. They're documenting her emotional campaign for us. Later that week, an old college buddy calls. Dude, he says, you know that Alex guy Rachel used to talk about? My coworker knows him. Word is, he bailed. Blocked her on everything once he found out she was still married and getting served. I lean back on my couch, movie paused, room quiet. So she burned the house down for a guy who ran at the smell of smoke. I say, pretty much. After the call, I scroll through her latest martyr posts for a minute. Quotes about healing, betrayal, starting over alone. All performance, no accountability. Then I do the most powerful thing she'll never understand. I turn off my phone, press play on my movie, and go back to my evening like none of it owns a single piece of me anymore. Maria's message hits my phone on a Tuesday night. No accusations, no emojis, no group chat energy. Just, I owe you an apology. Can we talk? Just us. That alone makes it interesting. We met at a park near the river, late afternoon. Kids are yelling near the playground. Dogs are dragging owners along the path. Normal life happening while mine finishes reformatting in the background. Maria's on the bench already when I walk up. No makeup armor, no performative outfit. Just jeans, a jacket, and a face that looks like she slept badly for a week. Hey, she says, standing halfway, then sitting again. Thanks for coming. I sit beside her, leaving a polite buffer of space. You said you wanted to talk. She twists her hands together. I was awful to you. All of us were. I believed Rachel. Every word. About you yelling, controlling the money, isolating her, making her feel crazy. The intervention was, we thought we were protecting her. I let the words hang. I'm not going to help her rush through them. She told us you were verbally abusive. Maria continues. That you'd explode over little things. That you'd call her names. That she was afraid to tell you anything. So when she asked us to be there, I thought, she trails off. I thought we were helping her escape some kind of monster. I nod once. Can I record this? She blinks. What? Can I record this conversation? I repeat. You apologizing, explaining what you were told, what you believed. For my legal file. She hesitates, then straightens. Yeah, she says quietly. It's the least I can do. I set my phone on the bench between us, hit record, and say the date and time. Then I ask her to repeat it. All of it. On the recording, Maria confirms that every accusation, abuse, control, emotional damage, came directly from Rachel. That none of them ever saw me do anything remotely close to what was described. That they trusted Rachel's story because she was crying and shaking and saying she felt trapped. That the intervention was staged based entirely on that narrative. We thought you were this cold, scary guy, she says into the mic, but you were just quiet, tired. Honestly, you seemed kinder than she described. I stopped the recording, slipped the phone back into my pocket. I appreciate the apology, I say. Next time someone asks you to help ruin a life, maybe verify the facts first. She winces, nods. You're right. We say goodbye. No hug, no big moment. Just two people walking in opposite directions, away from a mess they helped build in different ways. On the way back to my car, I forward the audio file to Isabel with a simple caption. Maria, park bench. The phone rings 3 minutes later. This, Isabel says, is the final nail. She lied about abuse, recruited a squad, and weaponized the story. Now we have one of them on record admitting it. Good, I say. Clear your schedule for next Thursday, she adds. Case conference. Rachel, her attorney, the 4 friends. I think you'll enjoy this one. For the first time in a long time, I actually look forward to being in the same room as all of them. Not as their defendant this time, just as the man holding the receipts. Isabel's conference room looks like it was built for bad news. Long tables, high-back chairs, glass walls that don't hide anything. I sit at one end, Isabel beside me, calm as ever. My folder is in front of her, not me. My work here is mostly done. Rachel walks in with her lawyer first, clutching a notebook like a shield. Behind them, Laura, Anna, Sarah, and Maria, moving in a loose pack. Maria won't quite meet my eyes. Rachel sits opposite me. Her lawyer takes the head of the table. Isabel stays seated, flips open the folder, and starts. Today's purpose is simple, she says. We're here to review the factual record and finalize terms. Let's start with expenditures. She lays out the credit card statements, copies for everyone. Restaurant charges, hotel stays, dates highlighted. These transactions, Isabel says, align with nights Mrs. Lawson reported being at work or with friends. They also align with phone records showing frequent contact with one Alex Garcia. Rachel shifts. I was lonely, she says quickly. He was just a friend. Eric was emotionally abusive and controlling. I told my friends that, right? Isabel cuts in smoothly. We'll get to that. Next, she slides out the phone logs, pages marked with colored tabs. 147 calls and extensive messaging with Mr. Garcia. During the period Mrs. Lawson and her friends staged an intervention, accusing my client of mistreatment. Laura leans forward. She only talked to him because she was scared of Eric. We told her to seek support. Isabel doesn't even look at her. Interesting, she says. Because we have a recorded statement from Ms. Rivera here, she nods toward Maria, confirming that all allegations of abuse were based solely on what Rachel claimed, with no personal observation, and that you believed you were protecting her from a man you'd never seen behave that way. The room tightens. All eyes swing to Maria. She looks like she wants to disappear. She recorded me? Rachel snaps. No, Isabel says. My client did. With consent. Perfectly legal. Anna turns on Rachel. You told us he screamed at you, called you names, threatened you. We never saw anything like that. You begged us to help you, Sarah adds, voice rising. You said you were scared to be alone with him. Rachel's composure starts to crack. You filled my head with this, she fires back. You kept telling me to test him, to push him, to see if he'd fight for me. You said all men are trash unless they prove otherwise. Oh, that's rich, Laura snaps. You used us as your attack dogs. You wanted an audience while you humiliated him. Don't turn this on us. The table dissolves into open yelling. You lied about being miserable. You begged us to come that night. You loved the drama. You humiliated him for likes. Maria finally speaks, quiet but clear. You told us he was a monster, she says to Rachel. He wasn't. You were just bored. That line lands like a hammer. One by one, they stand up. Laura storms out first, chair scraping. Anna follows, muttering something about being done. Sarah shakes her head at Rachel like she's something stuck to her shoe, then leaves too. Maria gives me a small nod of something that might be respectful and walks out last. Silence rushes back in. Isabel closes the folder. Witness credibility concludes here, she says. Given the documented affair, financial misuse, and false narrative campaign, my client's proposed settlement is generous. I suggest you sign it. Rachel's lawyer leans in, whispers frantically. Rachel stares at the papers like they're on fire. She looks up at me, eyes red, voice small. Do you hate me? I meet her gaze steady. No, I say. I just don't care enough anymore. We step out while they confer. 10 minutes later, they called us back in. Rachel's hand shakes as she signs each page. Isabel countersigns, gathers the documents, and slips them back into the folder I brought her weeks ago. Just like that, the performance ends. The divorce doesn't end with a gavel slam or a speech. It ends with a DocuSign, a couple of filings, and a short text from Isabel. Congratulations, you're officially free. No confetti, just oxygen. I use part of the settlement for a modest apartment near Sugar Hill. 3rd floor walk-up. View of a parking lot and a slice of the mountains if you lean over the balcony just right. It's not glamorous. It's mine. Moving in takes 1 day and about 10 years off my shoulders. I assemble a cheap TV stand, hang my own photos on the walls, hiking shots, old road trips, nothing with Rachel in it. My tools go in a plastic bin in the closet, labeled. Kitchen drawers actually close without fighting. The first night, I cooked a basic dinner for one. Steak, potatoes, frozen vegetables. No elaborate plate for someone who'll eat 3 bites and complain she's bloated. I eat at the small table by the window and notice something strange. Silence. Not the suffocating kind from the townhouse. The one full of tension and unsaid accusations. Just quiet. No crying in the bathroom. No dramatic sighs from the couch. No phone on speaker blasting other people's problems into my evening. At work, my boss pulls me aside after a month. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it, he says. You look 10 years younger and your numbers are insane. I shrug. Been sleeping. Online, the 4 idiots keep combusting in public. New breakups, vague posts about betrayal, job drama, constant chaos. I scroll past it like weather reports from a city I don't live in anymore. Screenshot anything directly about me out of habit. Send it to Isabel and move on. The important changes aren't on a screen. They're in the quiet routines. Lifting after work, cleaning my own place, watching a movie start to finish without pausing to manage someone else's meltdown. I'm not hunting for a new relationship. I'm rebuilding the one with myself. And the new rule is simple. No one gets to cast me as the villain in their story and still stay in mine. I see her again in the frozen section at King Soopers of all places. I'm staring at bags of mixed vegetables, trying to remember which brand doesn't taste like wet cardboard. When I hear it, Eric, I turn. Rachel stands there in an oversized hoodie, hair in a messy bun that isn't cute, just tired. Dark circles, chapped lips, grocery basket hanging from her wrist with 2 instant meals and a cheap bottle of wine. There's a crumpled tissue in her hand. For a second, we just look at each other. Hey, I say, neutral. Her eyes fill instantly. I lost the townhouse, she blurts. The payments, it was too much on my own. And the girls, we don't really talk anymore. They said I used them. And Alex, she swallows. He blocked me. Everywhere. I nod once. Sounds rough. She steps closer. Can't we just start over? We could sell everything, move somewhere new, try again. We could still have a family. I know I messed up, but we can fix this. There's a time in my life where that speech would have hit me like a truck. Now it just sounds like someone begging to re-enter a house I've already burned down and walked away from. You didn't lose everything, I say. You lost what you took for granted. She flinches. So that's it. Yeah, I answered. That's it. I grab my bag of vegetables, nod once more, and walk away. I don't look back. The aisle stays behind me like the rest of that life. About a year later, at a mutual friend's wedding in the foothills, the sky was clear and the air actually felt light. I show up in a simple suit that fits better than anything I owned during the marriage, shake hands, grab a drink, and end up at a table talking to a woman from the groom's side. She's funny, grounded, talks more about her own hobbies than her ex's. No dramatics, no chaos, just easy conversation. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot Rachel. Corner table, no entourage, no date, just her, a glass of water, and a fixed smile that never reaches her eyes. At one point our eyes meet across the room. There's a flicker of something, regret, maybe, or the realization that the man she put on trial isn't on the stand anymore. I give her a small nod, not cruel, not warm, just acknowledgement. Then I turn back to my conversation. Later, standing outside under the string lights, I watch people dance and laugh, and it hits me clean. The intervention that was supposed to break me actually rebuilt me. They wanted me to fight their accusations, beg for my character back, and argue my innocence in a rigged court. Instead, I agreed with their verdict in the only way that mattered. You're right. I'll save this for my next relationship. Sometimes the strongest move a man can make isn't defending himself. It's walking out of the courtroom, leaving the clowns to argue with each other, and building a life where no one gets to write him in as the villain ever again.